President Vladimir Putin, who's dialed Prime Minister Narendra Modi and strongly condemned the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Pahalgam that claimed 26 Indian lives. The Indian leader confirmed the invitation as well to the Russian president to visit India for the traditional annual bilateral summit between these two countries. The invitation was accepted with gratitude from Russia as well. Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Randhir Jaiswal, he said that Vladimir Putin conveyed his deepest condolences on the loss of innocent lives and offered full support to India in the fight against terrorism. You've got President Putin, who's expressing full support to India in the fight against terrorism and emphasized that the perpetrators of this heinous attack, the Pahalgam carnage, and their supporters must be brought to justice. Vladimir Putin, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, both the leaders reiterated their commitment to further deepening special and privileged strategic partnership between India and Russia. The Prime Minister also conveyed greetings to President Putin on the celebration of the 80th anniversary of the Russian Victory Day and invited him for the annual summit to be held in India later this year. Vladimir Putin condemning the Pahalgam terror attack and also with gratitude accepting India's invitation for the annual bilateral meeting that is supposed to take place later this year. News9's executive editor, strategic affairs, Aditya Rajkal, with us on the broadcast here. Aditya, the first thing that President Putin said was that he condemns the Pahalgam terror attack, and he says that the perpetrators and everybody that supported those perpetrators must be brought to justice. Again, deepening the ties that are already strong between these two nations.
Well, absolutely. It's a very strong statement coming in from the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who is himself engaged in a very long war continuously with Ukraine. It's been more than 3 years now. And now the statement that's come in from the Russian side says that both the sides emphasize the need for an uncompromising fight against terrorism in all its manifestations. And mind you, this is the second statement coming in from Russia. Earlier, we had Vladimir Putin, in fact, writing a letter to the President of India, Srimati Murmu, and Prime Minister Mr. Modi on condemning the Pahalgam terror attack in Kashmir, and of course, again reiterating the entire gamut of bilateral relations that is there and the strategic and defense partnership that Russia and India do enjoy. Now, during the conversation, the strategic nature of Russian-Indian relations and the special privilege partnership was also emphasized. Remember, there's a Victory Day that's coming in. This is the 80th anniversary of the Victory Patriotic War. And there was a personal invitation that had gone to the Prime Minister, which he had accepted earlier, but it seems like an MOS defense is likely to attend officially from the Indian side because of the current border and the diplomatic standoff with Pakistan. But the Indian leader confirmed the invitation to the Russian president to visit India for the traditional annual bilateral summit, and the invitation was accepted with gratitude. So Vladimir Putin soon would be visiting India. He's accepted the invite from Prime Minister Narendra Modi. But this is significant. The big talking point from this conversation between Modi and Putin is Vladimir Putin's full support to India in uncompromising fight against terrorism in all its manifestations. And this at a time when India is contemplating a military strike against Pakistan is of significance.
You know, Vladimir Putin has been going across the world as well. He was completely sidelined at the onset of the Ukraine war. And New Delhi's traditional ties with Moscow have been very deep. It has been a long-standing ally. With what's happening in Pahalgam and how India is now trying to ostracize Pakistan on the global level as well, this meeting becomes ever more important now, doesn't it? I'm trying to understand the stand that India has been smartly playing, Aditya, of being non-aligned to either of the sides. Will that be facing any sort of implication?
Well, on terrorism, India has been very clear that there cannot be a difference between good terror and bad terror, just like Pakistan does justify for a very long time. For Pakistan, there is good terror, which is Hizbul Mujahideen, Lashkar-e-Toiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, and other such groups. And the bad terror is the BLA, the Baloch Liberation Army, and others who come into the picture in Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa. So, as of now, India has been very forthright in its fight against terrorism. It doesn't mince any words. You would see that only yesterday, apart from banning several Pakistani handles on social media, on YouTube and Instagram, India has also banned Baloch media organizations that are anti-Pakistan. That clearly signifies India's very sharp approach against terrorism. You cannot divide terrorism as to benefiting you or against you. Terrorism is terrorism that you need to completely be against. So, yes, India has a non-aligned, neutral approach when it comes to Russia-Ukraine war or the Israel-Hamas conflict, but I don't think that should come in the way right now when we are fighting against terrorism, because in every war or global conflict, certainly every country chooses own national interest. That's what India did, just like US did, Russia did, and Europe has been doing for a very long time. So this time around, I think India has got much more support from both US and Russia when we compare it to 2019 Pulwama attack and the 2016 Uri attack. So India is in a much comfortable position right now. Pakistan's economy has been sinking. It's not doing too well politically and otherwise also. And we'll have to wait and watch how India intensifies its action against Pakistan.